Uh, oh my goodness. You guys, my morning, this technology is something else. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. Okay. um, how's everybody else's morning going? Somebody share with me how I gotta do this. I gotta turn my volume down on my phone. Uh, hopefully it's everything's good. Everything's good. I, I just need a breath. I just need to take a breath because of all mornings, everything happens at once. I don't know how many times. So share with me in the comments if you can relate. If your significant other, when you share something and you reiterate now for PS over a year, Tuesday I go live at 11 a.m., that if it's not every Tuesday, he calls me at quarter till 11 because he wants to talk. And I'm like, I love you, but it's quarter to 11 and I'm busy. I answer the phone because I'm thinking, one, it might actually like be super duper important. There's a reason you're calling me, etc., etc. And then it so happens this morning at 10:30, my wonderful, beautiful neighbor reached out and needed help. And so Phoebe, my daughter, she just got her babysitting certification a couple of weeks ago, and they were in dire straits, and they needed somebody this morning. And so at 10:30, I was organizing, getting my daughter up and out while my husband's calling me, while I'm trying to wake up my son, who I have to get to someplace at like noon, and then my daughter doesn't know where she's going, and she's like trying to leave the house at quarter till. She goes, "Aren't you driving me?" And I'm like, "No, they're around the corner." Like they're 3 houses away. She didn't know where she was going, and I couldn't walk with her, so she had to walk around the corner. And then I get on, and I'm like, "Great, I can do this." I have like 5 minutes to figure out the whole. Look at my hair's all. Figure out this whole Zoom thing again, and then only to realize, yeah, that's not happening. After 3 tries, I gave up and I just came on Facebook Live directly. And and I don't know. That's why I'm asking if Mercury is in direct, because it was like I connected, but then I was like logged in as my Facebook page and not my personal profile. Good morning, Michelle. And good morning, Maria. Yes, right. It's good morning, Susan. And I'm like, of all mornings, like I had, right? Best laid plans out the window. Out the window. Anyways, okay. Well, at least I had a shower, so that's a good thing. Good thing. Okay, but this is, right, so this is actually totally what this group is about, right? Like, as women entrepreneurs, for those that, whether you have the four-legged children or the two-legged children, or just even if you don't have any type of, you know, dependence, life happens. Like life comes at us, you know, fast and hard. And absolutely, Susan, thank you, right? We all have those moments. And it's how we adjust, how we, right? We talk about resilience all the time, how we remain flexible and be able to go with the flow. So, yeah, so I'm still trying to like laugh at myself about this because thankfully, my confidence in coming to you guys live every Tuesday has grown so much over the last year. Because if it was a year ago, I would have been sweating buckets. And I likely would have had to change my shirt 3 times before jumping on. And this morning I'm like, I got this. I got this. I can do this. My girls got me. I got it. So, yeah. Craziness, craziness, craziness. So, for those that are new, I'm Karen. and welcome to sometimes my chaotic life. But my goal and intention is to come live every Tuesday and share ideas, concepts, topics, educate, and I learn from you guys when we do these. So please, this is not just a one-way learning experience. I learn from you guys as well. And so, and now I got to turn my notifications off. I completely forgot. And so, right, and that's what this is about. So we are here together to learn, to grow, and to really create and build thriving businesses. And, you know, part of our motto over on the Village platform in the Women's Business Resource Community is it takes a village to build a business. We do not do it in a vacuum. We don't do it on our own. We require community. And this is what this morning was about, right? So, you know, when my neighbor, she reached out, and when she said, can Phoebe be here in 15 minutes? I was like, can you give her 20 so she can get dressed and brush her hair? Absolutely. And her response was, you don't know how much you just saved our lives. And it kind of gives me chills because it takes a community. And that's what I said to her. It takes a village. We don't do life in a vacuum. We don't do life by ourselves. Even if we, sorry, I got to get Kleenex. Even if we are single, right? Even if we are not in a committed relationship or in a relationship at all, even if we think we are single, we are not alone, right? We are in a community. It takes a community for us to thrive in life. So that's kind of where we're at. And today, what we're going to be talking about is, you know, we talked about it last week a little bit, blogging. And I thought maybe diving into it a little bit more would be super helpful. Because I had shared a resource maybe 3-4 months ago. I'm trying to remember now when we did the one training and I kind of touched on it. And that was one of the reasons I really wanted to make sure I got on via Zoom, because I wanted to be able to share my screen and kind of make this a little bit more interactive. So this might be a learning curve for all of us to see if I can share my screen without losing you guys. So we'll see. And if not, then we'll just kind of roll with it. Yeah, so it might take me a minute to see if I can do that somehow. Let me look. Let me look quickly here. Yeah, I may not be able to share my screen while I'm doing live on Facebook. So we'll see. If not, then I'll kind of have to walk you guys through, and you guys can open up a tab on your computers and kind of follow along that way. But blogging, and so many people have so much knowledge to share, right? And what does that look and feel like for us? And it becomes a way for us to create opportunity to connect with others, to showcase our knowledge and experience and our expertise, and to build a following where people can join along and come along for the ride, right? For our journey as a business owner. And whether they turn into clients or customers, that's our hope, that's our goal, right? That when they follow the journey from our blogging, that they go, oh, I can really do business with this person. I'm going to buy their product. I really like them, right? It opens that opportunity up. And even if they are not your perfect client, guess what? They might know somebody who is. And they might then share your content and share your article to say to their friend, hey, this is something I thought of you when I read this, right? So, and it goes back to what we talked about last week, word of mouth. So, blogging. There's 3 elements that we want to go over today. And that's the headline, the structuring of your content, and the SEO best practices. And I'm not sure if any of you saw my personal post that I made last week, and it was about SEO. And so, as you know, over on the Village, in the community, I've been writing courses, and realistically, the goal, my intention with those courses is really for my community members. I didn't think of it outside of that framework. Like, this is the framework where, as a member of this community, you get access to the courses, you get access to the advice columns, you get access to workbooks, worksheets, etc., right? I didn't think of it outside of that framework. And I kind of dove into, like, oh, where are the members? Where are they at? How are they doing? Kind of doing that check-in, because I like to do that every, 12 weeks or so, just to make sure, is there any hiccups going on? And that's when I realized, where'd all these users come from? They're not members, but they're users on my website, right? Because it's a WordPress website. And I had over 600 users registered as a student, not as a member, but just as a student, that were coming from all over the place. I didn't realize, with my SEO in place, right? So we're talking all of the things we're going to talk about regarding your blog. I put those in place for my courses, because the plugin that I use, which I'll share with you, kind of guides me through how to set things up, my products, my articles, et cetera, to make sure they're all SEO optimized. And all of these students are finding my courses, and I have their name and email address, but I'm not doing anything with them. So from a lead generation perspective, it blew my mind that I didn't even realize I could be creating this lead generation opportunity outside of just my members. So now my head has been spinning, because now I'm having to think about that, right? So when we get to that SEO practices, that becomes critical, because you don't understand what you don't know, right? And so with SEO, it can open up all these windows for you that, unless you have SEO, you don't even see them. Like, you don't even know they'll be there. So when we get to that, we'll dive into that. So, and I'm saying so a lot because I'm having to realize I'm like still trying to come back to center. I apologize. I will get better at it. Okay. See, I want to say the word. So good. Okay. Headlines. There is a website that I use. So I bulk create when I write articles, and inside the platform every day, Monday through Friday, I post between 7 and 7:30 every morning a brand new article on a topic regarding just related to small business, right? So what I do is I bulk create the titles. I look at the theme. So I create a theme for my year, and then I say what every month am I going to be kind of focused on, and then what are my subtopics, and they kind of rotate through the same type of topics that we talk about here in our live trainings. So there's a lot of crossover of information, but we know sometimes we have to hear something 7 to 10 times before we realize, oh, I need to do that. Oh, that sounds good, because it hasn't quite hit your brain correctly for you to register that that's something that's important to me, right? So we're going to have to sometimes use the same topic, but in a new way, so people hear it a second, third, fourth, fifth time before it actually registers and it connects with them. So when I'm bulk content creating, I take a look at the month. So for the month of July, I've already got all of my titles written. I haven't written the content yet. I've written the titles. So I understand where the theme is, and I try and tie them into what we're going to talk about here on our live trainings. I'm trying to tie them into the workshops that we do, the lunch and learns, right? And also it ties into whatever workbook or worksheet that I am publishing, or if I'm publishing a course at the end of this month. So how is all that connected? So there is that theme, right? So when we start talking about the structuring of your content, it's that flow. So it becomes important from a planning perspective. So headlines. The website I use is a headline analyzer. And it's amazing because it will literally walk you through your title to make sure it is SEO friendly, user friendly, and high conversion. So let's see, I'm going to, there we go, get rid of that pop-up. Let's see if I can If I can't share, then I will go into the comments. All right, I don't think I can share. I don't think so. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in the comments, I am going to put the link. So that should be in there. Okay, there it is. Now I see it. Okay, so headline analyzer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that website. Since I can kind of see you guys, it's a little bit delayed, but we'll just roll with it. Okay, so when you're at this website, it's free. And again, right, so when we're talking, like last week we were talking marketing on a budget and we were talking about blogging. This is one of the supporting pieces where you can create amazing, eye-catching, high conversion, better ranking blog titles without a cost, without anything. I mean, you can upgrade your plan, but I haven't ever, right? So if you're there, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to type in your current headline. And with that, it's going to come back and it's going to give you the results, right? It's going to tell you. So let's see. So somebody give me a headline. Oh, can I? Sorry, I'm really just seeing if I can. Yeah. Okay. So no, I'm just trying to see if I can maybe, but I can't. Yeah. No, there's no way for me to share. Nope. I can't. Okay, so if anybody wants to put a title in, give me an idea, just any type of concept of a headline or a blog title that you would like us to walk through as an example. And this is why I'm so bummed with the Zoom not working, because we can do it together and truly be interactive. So maybe what I'll do is I'll record something later today on kind of like a clip on how to do this one, and then share it as well with you guys. So with that, I'm just super bummed. I'm so sorry, you guys. When you Spanish more than just journey words. Okay, perfect. All right. So let's see. Spanish more than just a journey of words. Yes, I speak out loud while I type, just so you know. Okay, so then you type it in the space, and then you hit analyze. And what it does, it brings you back the analysis of your headline. Because, right, we know the headline is one of the first things, if not the first thing, that every single reader or potential reader is going to see. So it's super important. So that headline comes back out of a score of 100, right? You want to get it above 70. They prefer to get it above 80 out of 100, right? So they do that grading. So right now, that headline shows us an overall score of 66, right? So, and then it just tells you you should strive for 70 and above, right? As you scroll down, it's going to tell you what can be improved, right? It can be more compelling to attract more clicks by adding, it's telling you right now, like I'm reading it off the page, add more emotion and power words. It gives you 4 elements that you want to be able to like kind of get your headline within. So common words, you want it between 20 and 30%, right? That's the goal. So currently it's at 37%. The goal for uncommon words is 10 to 20%. Right now the headline is 12%. Emotional words, your goal is 10 to 15, it's 0. And then power words, the goal is at least 1, and there's 0. So we can see, because the common words are so top heavy, we're using the number of words and number of characters that they recommend all within the common words. So what they're recommending is by taking out a common word and replace it with an emotional word and a power word, it's going to up your score, which means it's going to be better from an SEO perspective, right? It's going to improve the clickability. It then, when you scroll down on that page, it's going to give you the sentiment, and it's a positive sentiment, right? Which is normally a better engagement response than neutral or negative ones. The headline is general, and it will tell you kind of what your headline, it'll give you a description, right? As you scroll down further, it says the character count. Right now there's 34 characters, and they say it's too short. So by replacing some of those common words with the power words and emotional words, you're going to actually extend that character count. But here's the caveat. You can't have too many words. Only characters you need to expand, right? So the word count is good. There's 8 words in the current headline, and it's the right amount of words. The best search results, the ones that have the highest click rate through, have 6 words. So this is where it becomes like a puzzle, where you're looking at word count versus character count, and then balancing out how do you up the emotional words, power words, and reduce the common words, right? So with that, you can continue tweaking, right? So if we go, and you can keep tweaking, right? So one of the words they like is the word how, right? So they love you if you ask questions. So you can change it to, how can Spanish be a journey? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Be a journey. We'll just say in life. I don't know. And we're going to reanalyze it, and it's going to tell us, right? So overall score, it only went up 68. So common words went up, positive, right? They like it's a question. Still too short. So you want to keep tweaking. So the word love is a great emotional word. So just by me changing it, instead of in life, it now reads, how can Spanish be a journey of love? The overall score went up to 87 from 68, right? So it includes now, yes, it's 62% of common, but now we have at least one power word. So you're kind of looking for that all green go light, right? It's still a question, it's still positive. The word count is good, the character count is still short. So we could even start looking at adjusting some of those words. But right now, your goal when you're using this headline analyzer, you want that overall score to be green. Green means go, right? And this is where, when you're doing for blogging, the headline bulk content creation, for me to create the 20 articles that we're going to publish every month over in the Village, it takes me about 90 minutes to just write the headlines. Because what I do is I create what I think is going to be the headline or the topic, and then I put each one in and I keep tweaking it until I get that green light from the analyzer. So then I know, right? So this headline analyzer is a great tool. 1, because it's free. 2, it actually gets you writing stronger blog titles. And the more you use this feature, the more you'll start to realize it comes naturally, right? It's like the muscle memory thing. So as you're doing this, sorry, I'm like watching, I just realized I'm like always to the side because now I'm watching my phone screen and not the computer screen, which is where I have my change of page, right? So it's going, you're going to just kind of be that muscle memory where you're going to go, oh yeah, so if I use these couple of words, it's going to give me a higher score. I'm going to be better off from an SEO perspective. So that's the thing. So when you're creating your headline, you want it to create a sense of urgency. The other thing people love is lists. You know, the top 10 Spanish words of 2024. You know, learn them. So just because we're using this, you know, how can Spanish be a journey of love, right? That's our headline we've been using for the analyzer. So the other thing is, you know, strong, they want adjectives. So can be an amazing journey of love. How can Spanish be an amazing journey of love? Like that might be an interesting twist to get in there and try, right? So asking questions, using strong adjectives, and then having that sense of urgency. But this headline analyzer is going to give you a great head start. And then, because the next piece is the content, structuring that content. And so I'm going to go back because now I'm like looking off to the side, try not to. Okay, so that's the beginning, right? So your headline is always the place to start. And now you're going to create the content. And depending upon what your website is based on, where you're going to create a blog, right? WordPress is a really great blogging website. There's a slew of others. And the only reason I say WordPress is because of the plugins that go along with it. They have some good built-in support pieces, but the number one SEO plugin for WordPress is Yoast, Yoast. And it basically is your SEO BFF. Because again, it uses the same green, orange, right, red light, the whole stop sign approach. And what you're looking for Yoast is all green lights. So your headline is a green light already. Then you get into, because I had a new blog post open that I was going to walk through with you guys. And so basically, Yoast SEO is the plugin. What it does is it will walk you through not just the SEO, but the readability and inclusive language, right? So to make sure, and again, you want all three green. Red and orange are kind of the other two, and it's going to break it down for you, right? Because with content, when you structure your content, it's about having a strong intro. Because if you have a preview where people, based on what comes up in Google searches, you're going to see likely the top paragraph if you haven't filled in the preview text or the meta description, because those things are going to also help you from an SEO perspective. So with Yoast, it's going to say to you, what are you? I'm going to go there now so I can read them off for you. It's going to talk to you about what is not just the title for SEO. It's going to talk to you about your slug. So whatever your keyword is, and the other thing, they don't like you using duplicate keywords. So if you use on one blog a keyword, you cannot use it again. So if you're using a key phrase of, journey of love, you can't use that again, right? You have to have a different keyword for every blog you write. And whatever that keyword is, they're going to want to see it. SEO, and this is where Yoast is going to walk you through, SEO is going to say, I want it in the title. Hence why you pick the keyword and you do the headline analyzer first, because then it's already in your title and your title has that green light. So then that becomes your keyword phrase. You're going to make sure that that keyword is in your slug, which is the URL, which is normally a shortened version of your actual title. Depending upon how long your title is, it can actually be your whole URL. And then in the meta description, it's going to ask you, see, now I got to flip back because I'm looking at my phone and not my computer, so I'm looking at you sideways, right? So it wants you to use kind of those features. And so with that, it's going to say meta description, the slug, the SEO title, and images. If you are going to add images to your blog post, make sure that they are optimized for mobile friendly and fast loading. If they are not, it will count against you, for one. Two, people won't wait. People will say, oh, it's taking too long. I'm not sticking around, I'm jumping off, right? And when people jump off quickly, then Google says, oh, it mustn't be good content. It must be low quality content. Because if people aren't sticking around, then Google says we're not going to send people there. And it will start kind of redirecting. It won't put you higher up in the search results, right? So for the content, you want to make sure that you're kind of mixing it up, that it's not just one big column of text, Think of when you're writing papers in school, right? You have to break it up. You want there to be a flow. So the readability, which when we were just talking about the Yoast plugin, the second green light is readability, and it will walk you through not enough headlines, not enough subtitles. There is too many run-on sentences. There is not enough transition words, and it will handhold you all the way through. So it's a learning. We get to learn to write again. Even when we think we're the best writers, Yoast is going to come back and say, yeah, but not so much. Okay? Like, I don't know, I could likely count, it's likely less than 10 times since I've been blogging in 2008 that I have written a piece of content that hasn't needed to be edited and reworked. Like, very rare do you out of the gate write something that's going to meet all the criteria. So please don't get discouraged. There's a learning curve to understanding. And the more you do it, what I notice is my run-on sentences are kind of gone out the window. Like, I'm really good about kind of going in and as I'm writing to make sure, oh, no, that's too long. That's a run-on sentence, right? So, because we talk and then we write like we talk. And that's okay. It's a learning curve. So with that, right, so we know about the flow. We know the subheadings. Bullet points are great, right, to kind of break up the visual for people to read. And then the closing, you can, as you close out, a call to action, read another article. If you liked what you read, here's another article that I recommend reading. If you want to learn more about how to do XYZ, reach out, right? So you can be kind of referring people back to what you've just written and why it's important for them to reach out and talk to you, or continue to read other articles or blogs that you've written. So, so again, right, so the strong headline, using that headline analyzer website that I put in the links, and then wherever you're blogging, making sure, so on WordPress, right, they're called plugins. So use a Yoast SEO plugin. It's free. Again, another free option, right, for you to up your SEO game. And that, so we've been talking about SEO through the whole thing, right? The best practices, right? So it talks about that keyword, not duplicating your keyword, right? And that a keyword can be a key phrase. But you want to make sure that that keyword or key phrase is in your title. It's in at least one of your subheadings. It's in your slug / what they call the URL. It's also in the meta description. The meta description can't be too long. You want it, again, to be maybe, let's see, like 150 characters, maybe 20 words, maybe. Not super long, but enough that it's engaging and that people read it and go, oh, I want to continue to read more. Because that meta description is what Google's going to put underneath your title when they show it in the search results. Okay? So the other thing you want to be able to do is be looking at how to create backlinks into your website or wherever you're blogging or creating your content for. And so what that requires is seeing where you can cross-post. So back in the beginning, when I first started, 2008, 2010, I had about 10 different other blog article websites, expert sites that I would post my content. I would become an author member where then I would post my content. And when the links would all come back to my website. Google likes to see those backlinks. So kind of building that network of where you can post content to create backlinks to your website. So, and that is something that over in the Women's Business Resource community that we are going to be expanding on, right? So one, we've launched where people can create their own courses and have them hosted in our platform. We'll be adding to that where you can become an author, where you can create your own blog posts and create that kind of profile as well. So baby steps, right? But you want to start looking at how can you create that network where you can consistently go on another blog, post your content, and have it come back and link to your website. So you want to start thinking about that. You want to find, kind of 6 to 8 different blogs that are in alignment with who you are as a business, your principles, your brand voice, and it makes sense. So using our Spanish theme this morning, right? Would it make sense for Maria, you to go and maybe blog on a French website? Depends on if everything else on their website matches with you, right? And is aligned with you. So would it make sense that maybe people who are learning French or be interacting in a French website want to or be interested in a Spanish blog? You never know. Off the top of your head, you're kind of going, yeah, that doesn't really sound right, right? So you would have to think about that. So you want to think about where you want to be cross-posting your blogs. And here's the catch when you post your blog. If you are copying and pasting, I'm just going to use those words, copying and pasting what you wrote on your website on another website to link back to this, to your website, you want to make sure that at the very top of that republished blog that you actually say that, right? Full transparency. Because what you don't want them is to click back to your website and see the exact same content. You want to be able to put something like originally posted on this date. So that way people say, oh, this is a republished post. And it's okay as long as people know, right? What they don't want to know is they don't want to show up and read a blog post and then go, oh, this is really good. I want to read more of her stuff. And they click back and they start seeing the same content. So just think about that. Okay, so just make sure you're putting that little statement at the top. So that's a lot. We've covered a lot, and I've kind of been talking fast, and I apologize only because of the chaos that happened before we got started. So do you guys have any questions? So I put the headline analyzer link in the comments for any of you that are just kind of popping in now, right? And it's a great free tool for you to create strong, eye-catching, clickable blog titles. And then we talked about structuring your content and SEO. We kind of talked along the way, but the plugin for WordPress is Yoast SEO is an amazing free plugin to help you make sure you're creating content that is completely optimized. Any questions? So I'm actually going to just, let's see here. Yoast likely has, let me see. Well, I'm waiting to see if comments pop up. Okay. I'm going to come back here, go down to the comments, and all right. So I just put the Yoast website into the comments because depending upon where you host your blog, they may have a solution for where you post. I know, you're welcome, Maria. I just know that they work wonderfully within WordPress, but depending upon where else you're hosting, they may have a solution for you there as well. Or you can start doing what is a solution for hosting on X website for blogs that is comparable to Yoast SEO. So you can start kind of doing that research around what might be an alternate solution. So questions? Okay. So thank you, Maria. Helpful. I'm glad it's been helpful, and thank you for participating and giving me an example headline to analyze and kind of walk through with you guys as an example. So it can be a lot, it can be overwhelming. So patience is important, and be kind to yourself when you start blogging. Some options you have when you blog as well is to monetize. Oh my God, I can't even say the word now. You know what I'm talking about, right? You can have ads on your website. Oh my God, this is my brain today. This is my brain today. And those that don't normally come on that may be watching the replay, yeah, this is me laughing at myself. I do that a lot. I'm human. So there are plugins, and I'm going to talk from WordPress. You can bring in certain plugins for Google Ads where you can have ads on your website. Another thing some bloggers will do is they will set up an Amazon. Okay, you have a question, right? Just 1 second before I lose my train of thought with Amazon. You can set up, if you sell your products on Amazon, or if you are, for an example, interior designer, and you can set up a store with recommended items in Amazon, and you can have those links embedded in your blog, where then when people click on them to go buy the product, then you get a residual or a percentage. So you can look at how you can kind of up your income from that perspective as well. Yes, we do, Maria. Okay, so Maria just asked, how do you keep track of how well your blog is doing? So that comes down to the other part of your Google Analytics, and that's a whole different bird. Right, so with your plugin, you can be doing, you can set up Google Analytics through your Google account, and it can track it for you. So you're going to have to dive into Google Analytics and make sure that you can follow along and kind of learn from that perspective. So Google Analytics is a great way to know and keep track of that. And it can be overwhelming too. So make sure you have like an abundance of patience when you go to dive into Google Analytics, because it will be overwhelming in the beginning. Okay, any other questions? And I think now that you bring that up, Maria, maybe I'm going to look for somebody who is an expert in Google Analytics. And maybe that's what we'll do our lunch and learn on. Let me see if I can put my thinking cap on and who I can tap that for, because I think that's going to be super helpful for all of you to be able to know. I know Google Analytics, but I cannot teach it. I don't know enough. Like, I am still very green when it comes to that, even after looking at it for however long. So yeah, I think that would be helpful. So I'll do that. I will try and for July's Lunch and Learn to find somebody. I'll reach out to some people here locally that I know and see if they'd be open for that. Okay, other questions? No? Okay. Hey, well, thank you all for being here. I super appreciate your patience this morning with me getting on late and frustrated and flustered and all sorts of craziness going on. But blogging, headlines, structuring your content, SEO best practices, kind of keep all that in mind and share it with us. So in the comments, if you've got a blog that you're writing on this live stream, post the URL for your blog. And then that way we can kind of tap into each other's, right? So so like ours, we call it a advice column on the Women's Business Resource Community. So, because every day there's a new article published, right? So, so in the bottom, post your link for the URL for your blog URL. And so we can all kind of pop over. And if we can find people that are in alignment where you can start looking at backlinks, this might be a great way to start making that community for us, okay? And maybe I'll start a thread on that. Let me do that. Let me do that later today. Okay, perfect. I appreciate you all. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here today. And I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day. And we'll see you not next week, being July week. Canada Day on Monday and July 4th, Independence Day on Thursday. Right? Did I get that right? Yeah. I will be off next week, so there will be no live training next week, so I will see you in 2 weeks on the 9th. All right? And then also whatever is normally hosted the first week of July will be pushed out a week. So that includes the Biz 101 group coaching over in the Women's Business Resource community. That free coaching session will be pushed out a week, and the Lunch and Learn will be pushed out a week. So 2 weeks for everything. All right? Awesome. You guys have a beautiful day. Thank you.